Okay, hopefully this video will actually be okay. Here we go. So this is for 701, 706. You're combining like terms, yeah? And let's get to this. So I would like for you guys to move things around. So pretend that it's actually etched in stone or something, and you would like to lift that stone and put that stone next to this one. You would have that, yeah? If we were to combine like terms, again, I'm going to do this. And I know it starts over here and it ends before the sign here. Okay, so I'm looking at 4a minus 12a. Well, we know it's going to be something a. Well, we also know it's going to be minus 7 because the minus 7 is not going to do any operations with anyone. So we got to figure out what 4a minus 12a is. Take a second, and if we ignore the a's for a second, we have 4 minus 12. If we change this to addition, you get this. The absolute value here, we have more negatives, right? So we know the answer is going to be negative. And there's definitely going to be more negatives left over after we make 0 pairs. And how many negatives we're going to have left over? It's going to be 8. So final answer, negative 8 minus 7. Again, circle, that's a constant, which is going to go with this guy, and the other two are going to go together. So if I move things around, and again, pretend they're etched in stone, then let me put this over here. It's minus 9m, minus 12m. Let me change colors. So it's going to go from here all the way to just before that sign here. And the second part is going to be from here all the way to that. So focus on these two parts. Negative 7 minus 13. Take a moment to pull this on the side. You get negative 7 plus negative 13. Both are negative, so I know my answer is going to be just more negatives. And 7 and 13 equals 20. So that equals to 20, negative 20. Again, this is minus 9m minus 12m, so I know it's going to be something m. Ignore the m's for a second and just copy the numbers. So we got negative 9 minus 12, which again, I can change that to an addition problem. And if I do, I know now that both are negative, so my answer is going to be negative something. And 9 and 12, 9 plus 12 is 21. Okay, now it doesn't take that long for you to do this on the side here. So, like I mentioned in class, there are quite a few of you who are not changing this to an addition problem. Okay, you're just doing it straight away, and sometimes you get confused. So take the extra moment to change it. 5k squared minus k, so let's, this guy, minus k, put a square over here, put a square over here. So let's put the like terms together. 5k squared minus k squared minus k and minus k, right? So the like terms are next to each other, so we're going to go from here to here, and the other one's from here to here. Something 5k minus k squared, 5k squared, so imagine it's 5, and remember there's an imaginary 1 there, so that's just 5 minus 1. There's no need to change that. That's just simple 4. Now here, you know there's a 1 here and there's a 1 here, so if I take that to the side, it's going to be minus 1, right? Keep that one, change that to addition. The opposite of 1 is negative 1. So I have negative 1 plus negative 1, which is going to be negative 2. So my answer is 4k to the second power minus 2. Minus 8. Minus 12 are like terms. Minus 5y, and then minus 5y to the second power. Those are not like terms, although the variables are the same, their exponents are different. So pretty much, you only have to worry about this part. Because this guy, minus 5y and minus 5y squared, are just going to be waiting for you to finish the first part here. Minus 8 minus 12, again, I'm going to change it to an addition problem. Minus 8 plus negative 12, and you get negative 20 minus 5y minus 5y squared. Shoo, it's quite a lot. So this one, let's move them. Might be a long video. 3x cubed plus 12x cubed. Then I'm going to move this guy here, minus 5. And next to it, I'm going to put the minus 33. And the minus 3x is going to go all the way at the end because there's not much to do with that guy. So take care of these two first. It's going to be something x to the third power, and just they're both positive, so 3 plus 12 is just your ordinary 15. The next part is going to be these two. So you get minus 5 minus 33, or minus 5 plus negative 33. They're both negative, so it's going to be something negative, and 5 plus 33 is 38. And this guy over here does absolutely nothing, and we can just copy it down. So that's my final answer. Careful here. Okay, there's a lot of, it's very easy to make a mistake because it might look a little confusing. So 5ab minus 23ab. And then we're going to go this guy, minus 2ab squared, plus 9ab squared. Those are like terms. And then, right, these two are like terms. And finally, that minus 4a is going to be all the way at the end because there's no other term with just an a. So that pretty much nothing's going to happen to that guy. So let's take a look at these two terms. AB, 5ab minus 23ab, so it's going to be something ab. Take that, ignore the letters, the variables for a second, and if you ignore that, you get 5 minus 23, which you can turn to 5 plus negative 23. They're more negative, so I know my answer is going to be negative something. How many more negatives? So, and the difference is 18. Second part goes from that minus sign there all the way to subtraction sign. And again, it's going to be something ab squared. And you know what? I'm even going to put that at the end because that. So we got to figure out what negative 2 plus ab squared plus 9ab. So if you ignore the variables, you just simply look, it ends up being this. Negative 2 plus 9, there are more positives. All right, so if you make 0 pairs, you're going to have 7 left over, but what kind of 7 is that? It's a positive 7. So we get negative 18ab plus 7ab squared minus 4a. Minus, okay, so let me, 7k, these two are like terms, and then this guy and this guy are like terms, right? So it's 7 minus 7k minus k minus 8m minus m and minus 12km, which is doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to put that at the end. Take these two, right, all the way here. And if you think about that, without the variables it's going to be negative 7 minus 1, right? There's a little imaginary 1 over there. So it's going to be something, okay, negative 7 minus 1. Take that, change this, and then change that. You get negative 7 plus negative 1. They're both negative, so no 0 pairs. It's just going to be more negatives, negative 8. Next part is this, the m's. And again, there's a 1 in front of that m. So it's, if you ignore the variables, you get negative 8 minus 1. Negative 8 plus negative 1, which means it's just going to be negative 9 and 9m. And that last part I just copied because nothing to add with those. Is that km there? Okay. Negative 17 minus 12. These are all like terms, minus 18, so they're all next to each other. And then that p here, minus p, minus 3p, plus w. So I have these three, right, that I have to figure out. These two, and then just that plus w at the end. So if I change this to an addition, I'm going to get negative 17 plus the opposite of 12, which is negative 12. And then plus the opposite of 18, which is negative 18. So as you can tell, we have 3 negative numbers being added together, so my answer is going to be something negative. So we just add those numbers, 17, 12, and 18. It's going to be 30, 47, negative 47. Minus p minus 3p is going to be something p, right? So minus p, there's a 1 in front. So if you ignore the variables again, you get minus 1, minus 3. Minus 1 plus negative 3. It's going to be negative 4. And then plus w. Oh, not much left. Okay, so where am I? Here. Let me see. Cubed. Any other cube? No, so it's z3 minus 11z to the third power. And this guy over here, minus z squared plus z squared minus z squared plus 9, right? So these three in the rectangles and then plus 9 at the end. So let's take care of our z to the third power, which goes all the way up to here. So it's going to be something z to the third power. There's a 1 here, and it's going to be 1 minus 11, or 1 plus negative 11. There's more negatives. You make one zero pair, and you're going to be left over with negative 10 z's. And now we're going to go from here to here. So minus z squared plus z squared minus z squared. So if there's a 1 in front of them, this becomes minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1, these two become 0. And 0 minus 1 is just minus 1 z to the second power. And obviously plus the 9 at the corner. Let's look for everything that's xy. So there's an xy here, minus 55xy. This is just a y in a square on the rectangle. I'll put the y's. And then the triangle, I'll put everything that's an x. So let's move them around. 12xy, we're going to bring the minus 55xy right next to it. Minus 9y, minus 20y, minus 14x, minus 13x. So here we go. Start with these two. Stops right here. So it's going to be something xy, and then we have 12 minus 55, which we can look at it as 12 plus negative 55. Okay, so they're definitely not friends here. We're going to have more negatives left over. So how many left over are we going to have? Well, 55 minus 12 is 43, so it's going to be negative 43, right? Take care of the third term and the fourth term, and if you look at it, it becomes negative 9 minus 20, or negative 9 plus negative 20. They're both friends, they're both all negative, so it's just negative. We add those two. Negative 29, so negative 29y. And the last part is negative 14 and negative 13. Let me do this on top. Negative 13 minus 13. If you ignore the variables, you get negative 14 plus negative 13. So they're both negative, so you just get much more, just more negatives. So negative 14 and negative 13 is negative 27. So there's my x answer. Minus 43xy, minus 29y, minus 27x. Okay. So, this one's a long one. Jeez. Whose idea was that? Okay, so here's our bonus word. Hopefully I'm spelling this correctly. Costco. Okay. So, wow, I don't even know where to start. So let's start with the AWs. And you know what? And this one, I don't even know. So let's start with the AWs. Let me try not to. 44 AW. I'm going to cross it out like this. Is there any other AWs? Here. But it's minus 78 AW. So let me cross this out. Any other AWs? Yes, there's one more right here. Minus AW. Okay. Jeez. A squared W. So let me change it, put it in red. So it's this guy right here, minus 28 A squared W. Is there any other A squared W? Yes, there is one right here. Minus 33 A squared W. I don't think I'm in that room. AW squared plus 3AW squared and minus 14AW squared. And then we have a, okay, so you know what? Let me do these first because I'm running out of room. And then I'll do the ones that I haven't crossed out. So let's start here. It's going to be something AW. And you get 44 minus 78, or 44 plus negative 78. There's more negatives. You can make a bunch of zero pairs. How many negatives are you going to have left over? Well, 78 minus 44 is 34, so it's going to be negative 34. Next part starts here and goes all the way before that subtraction sign. Remember, there's a 1 here. I'm going to put a 1 over here. Uh-oh, did I forget something? AW. Bummer. AW. Is there an 8? So let me look at AW. No, something like this is supposed to be. Okay, so there is 1, 2. Okay, so I messed up. So ignore what I just said. I'm going to go back. Okay, I'm going to go back. Actually, let me do this. I was correct, but I forgot this. Let me take that back. When I combine, it's these 3 terms. They are all AW. So it's actually 44 minus 78 minus 1. So let me change that. 44 plus negative 78. Let me change that other subtraction to plus negative 1. So that's what I'm looking for all the AWs. 44 and 78, we did that not too long ago, and then we got 34 negative. So these two becomes negative 34. And if I add that to negative 1, negative 34 plus negative 1, I get negative 35. Okay. Now I get to do these two. And it's going to be something a squared w. And if I look at the numbers, I get negative 28 minus 33, or negative 28 plus negative 33. They're both negative, so we just add these two numbers. So it's going to be 28 plus 33, which is going to be negative 61. So I'm going to have minus 61. Then we're going to do this last part here. It's going to be something AW squared. And I have a positive 3 minus 14, or 3 plus negative 14. And there's more negatives, to be precise, minus 11. Okay, so I took care of all those. And I still got more. So now the more part would be, let me take out the w's. So it's going to be negative 12w. Cross that out. And plus w. And then I have a 16a here, minus 16a. And minus 31a. Putting them next together. Then I have the plus 15 over there, and the plus 32. Plus 15, plus 32, plus 15, plus 32. So I have a few more to combine. So I'm going to start over here. Go all the way over here. It's going to be something w, so that says negative 12, and there's a 1 in front of that w, plus 1. They're not friendly, right? So there's going to be more negatives left over. So negative 11w. And then the next part is going to be this, right? Negative 16a minus 31, so it's going to be something a. And negative 16 minus 31, if you ignore the variables, you have this. Negative 16 plus negative 31. Just two negatives added together, you're just going to get negative. So 16 plus 31 is going to be 47, negative. So it's going to be minus 47a, right? So these two combine. And the last one, they're both two positives, 15 plus 32, that's easy to do, and that's plus 47. Right, so continuing this, let me just move that. It's going to be minus 11w, minus 47a, plus 47. Okay, so this would be your answer if I did it correctly. Okay, and that's that.